As the pale fingers of dawn gently caressed the horizon, the world yawned itself awake in a soft, understated symphony. The sky, still draped in the cool remnants of night, gradually surrendered to hues of delicate pink and amber, like a canvas being slowly unveiled. Each brushstroke of the rising sun painted the sleepy landscape with the promise of new beginnings. In the early morning air, there was a crispness, mingled with the fragrant undertones of dew-kissed earth and the subtle sweetness of blooming wildflowers. Nature seemed to hold its breath in these early hours, the silence only punctuated by the occasional rustle of leaves as a gentle breeze stirred them to life. Birds, perched on the highest branches, began their morning rituals with tentative chirps, their notes rising like incense into the lightening sky. Away from the bustling heart of the village, in a simple home with walls that seemed to hold whispers of the past, a solitary figure moved with careful grace. This was a place where the silence was not an absence, but a companion. The soft shuffle of feet across the packed earthen floor played in gentle harmony with the swish of fabric. A woman, her form illuminated by the slanting rays of the early sun, went about her morning tasks with the practiced movements of those who understand the rhythm of the world. Her hands, strong and steady, moved over a well-worn mortar, grinding grains into fine meal, the repetitive motion both meditative and essential. Each task was performed with a sense of reverence, a nod to the ancient dance between the earth and her people. As she worked, the delicate aroma of freshly ground grain mingled with the scent of herb leaves on the windowsill, a tender promise of sustenance yet to come. The house held a quietude, not of silence, but of harmony, where each sound was a note in the gentle orchestra of dawn. The woman, known as Alara in the village, was tethered to the land through generations of tending and toil. Her lineage was etched into the very essence of her surroundings. Every stone path, every field, and every whisper of the wind carried a hint of her ancestors' presence. Her home, a modest dwelling built with stones smoothed by time and patience, was situated on the edge of the village, where the boundary between cultivated fields and wild nature blurred. In the small house, the windows were like open eyes to the world, welcoming the dance of light and shadow throughout the day. Alara took comfort in these surroundings, every crack in the stonework, and every creak of the timber beam telling a story familiar and dear to her. The walls, painted with the soft shades of the past, seemed to echo the silent stories of those who had walked her path before. On this particular day, Ilara's preparations held a quiet significance. A festival honoring the harvest would take place that evening, a celebration that gathered the scattered spirits of the community in joy and gratitude. Ilara had the task of preparing a simple but heartfelt meal to share, weaving together the vibrant flavors that the season provided. As sunlight streamed in, highlighting dust motes dancing in the air, she gathered what she needed: vibrant squashes, bundles of herbs still dewy from the morning pick, and containers of grains glistening like tiny golden suns. Her hands worked with an expert's ease, movements practiced, and sure as she peeled, chopped, and mixed. She hummed softly, a melody passed down through time, something gentle and full of warmth that mirrored her every measure of flour and pinch of spice. Though the shadows shifted as the sun climbed higher, they only added a deeper dimension to the symphony of preparation, where each ingredient found its place in anticipation of the communal gathering. As anticipation filled the room, her heart swelled with the simple pleasure of contributing her part to the village's shared heritage and collective happiness. Nestled in a tranquil valley, the village where Alara lived was a tapestry of earth tones and vibrant murals painted by nature's hand. It had flourished on the fringe of an ancient forest, its leafy perimeter a vivid contrast against the patchwork of cultivated lands that unfolded like a quilt across the rolling hills. As one meandered through the village, they could hear the subtle rhythms of daily life, a gentle buzz of bees collecting nectar, the distant murmur of a brook threading through mossy stones, and the comforting clang of tools in the hands of craftsmen. The houses were simple, yet lovingly built, their thatched roofs and sturdy wooden beams standing as a testament to generations of communal care. Each home told a gentle story, wrapped delicately in ivy and flowering vines that whispered secrets to the wandering breeze. The central square provided a heart to this rural tapestry, a gathering place paved with worn cobbles and peppered with old oak benches, from where villagers could watch the world gracefully turn. The road leading into this village was a thread that connected the community to the broader tapestry of the world. It emerged from the deep woods like a winding serpent, inviting travelers to step into a slower rhythm where time loosened its rigid hold. Along this road, an air of anticipation lightly ebbed and flowed, especially on days such as this when the harvest festival promised laughter, stories, and the weaving of bonds both old and new. It was a path flanked by waving fields of barley and terraces bursting with vine and fruit. The familiar creak of wheels could be heard upon its pebbled path, as villagers and guests from neighboring hamlets made their way to join the evening celebration. Each passing season etched a layer of history into its winding curves, where tales of rain and sun, harvest and sowing, love and loss were softly spoken by the wind. As the afternoon sun climbed higher, casting a golden glow over everything it touched, the village began to hum with quiet anticipation. The distant chorus of children's laughter, the soft murmur of preparations, and the gentle rustle of leaves all converged into a serene overture, setting the scene for a day painted in the hues of community and gratitude. The afternoon unfolded leisurely, its gentle pace mirrored in the rhythmic, unhurried tasks that define the village's core. In one of the hearths, not far from where Alara prepared her bountiful meal, a young woman sat under the leafy canopy of an ancient oak, weaving intricate patterns into her hair. Her fingers moved deftly, each twist and braid a silent testimony to time-honored tradition and personal artistry. Sunlight filtered through the leaves in soft dapples, dotting her dark, glossy strands with flecks of gold. She worked with the same care and precision as an artist painting a beloved scene, each loop and coil symbolizing hopes, dreams, and the peace of her own thoughts. The gentle tug and the rhythmic flow of her hair between her fingers became a meditation of sorts, a brief detachment from the world, where inner reflections danced silently with each meticulous movement. Nearby, other women joined in this quiet communion, exchanging nods and smiles, the silent conversation of kindred spirits who understood that beauty often lay in the simplest rituals. Elsewhere in the village, the blacksmith polished his tools with reverence, preparing them not only for the festival, but for the stories they would soon help craft in the coming months. The forge was a place alive, with the echoes of crackling fires and the steady clang of metal on anvil, yet at this moment, it held only the quiet promise of what was to come. He wiped his brow with a calloused hand, the afternoon sun casting long shadows across his workshop. A keen scent of burning coal lingered in the air, entwined with the earthy aroma of leather and oil. His hands moved over each tool with deliberate care, a ritual almost sacred in its execution. Each stroke of the cloth over a hammer, each gentle scrape of a whetstone on steel, was an echo of the beating heart of the village, solemn yet hopeful. Through the wide-mouthed doorway, he could see children skipping past, their laughter sweeping through in waves, carrying with it the essence of youth and the reverie of endless summer days. The blacksmith paused, breathed deeply, feeling the weight of the season and his part in it settle comfortably across his shoulders, a grounding reminder of his place among these familiar souls and the endless cycle that wove their lives together. As the sun lounged languidly in the afternoon sky, each ray painted the world with vibrant hues, bringing the village to life in ways both grand and subtle. Ilara, stepping briefly outside for a breath of fresh air, noted the way light splintered through the tree branches, casting speckled patterns across the path. Her eyes lingered on these fleeting mosaics, tracing them as they shifted with the breeze. The sound of rustling leaves mimicked the soft whisper of ancient secrets, a testament to time's gentle shift. At her feet, tiny ants marched in unison across the dusty ground, weaving an intricate choreography in their industrious travels. She watched their determined parade with quiet admiration, understanding the importance of even the smallest actors in this grand tapestry. An occasional butterfly flitted by, its wings a delicate tapestry of colors that danced freely in the breeze, as if capturing fleeting joy in each undulating motion. Nearby, the soft sound of a cartwheel crunching over gravel drew her attention towards the road leading from the village square. Villagers passed by, some carrying baskets teeming with produce, their contents a vivid splash of nature's bounty, the reds of ripe tomatoes, the greens of freshly picked herbs, and the deep purples of plump grapes that promise sweetness. Cheeks flushed with the warmth of the day, they walked with an easy grace, exchanging greetings, their voices a gentle harmony that rose and fell like the breath of the earth itself. This lullaby of daily life was occasionally punctuated by the soft bleat of a goat, or the distant crow of a rooster, adding depth to the village's symphony. Children ran ahead, their laughter threading through the air like the most joyful of melodies, sparking a cascade of smiles among those they passed. Even the village dogs rose from their sun-drenched slumber to partake in this lively procession, wagging tails, beating in time with the heart of the village. Ilara, soaking in these moments, felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the simple beauty that punctuated every inch of her world, a living reminder of the gentle ties that bound them all to this shared life. As Ilara returned to her tasks, her hands skillfully attending to the minutiae of preparing the evening meal, her mind drifted back to a vivid dream she had experienced not long before. In the dream, she stood at the edge of the vast fields just outside the village, beneath a sky painted with hues of twilight, deep violets and soft oranges blending like an artist's palette. The fields, usually bursting with life, were still and silent, yet she felt the undeniable pulse of something grand moving beneath the surface, an energy that connected everything and everyone. Suddenly, birds began to rise in swirling clouds, dancing among the painted skies with a freedom both awe-inspiring and elusive. In their flight, Ilara saw a reflection of her own life, each wing beat echoing her desires and fears, aspirations and memories interwoven like the tapestry of the village itself. The scene evoked a sense of serene understanding, a remembrance that life was a cycle, ever flowing, ever renewing, and she was but a thread in this wondrous creation. This dream, like many others she'd experienced, seemed to hold a deeper meaning or message, waiting to be uncovered. Long after waking, the imagery lingered in her thoughts, a reminder of the stories passed down through her family, tales of the land's ancient spirits and their wise guidance. Sitting beside her grandmother as a child, Ilara listened with wide-eyed wonder to accounts of how the mountain peaks were the resting places of revered ancestors, their whispers carried on the wind, a source of wisdom and comfort. There was a particular story of a great bird, a mystical creature said to inhabit the dreams of those it found worthy, guiding them towards their destiny. Ilara often wondered if her dreams were visits from such a guardian, intended to steer her toward the heart of the world's secrets or to a deeper understanding of her own. These thoughts filled her with a tentative hope, a silent yearning for the future that lay ahead, a future where each action today shaped the landscape of tomorrow. And as she continued her preparations, weaving love and hope into every stir and fold, she held her dreams close, trusting that they would light her path through the shadows and into the new days yet to come. As the day ambled onward, a serene afternoon painted with golden light invited the village into a collective lull, where the gentle choreography of life slowed to a restful rhythm. Ilara, with her preparations well in hand, took a moment to pause, stepping outside into the warming embrace of the sun. She wandered toward a familiar bench at the edge of the village square, its wood worn smooth by countless generations of quiet contemplation. The gentle rustle of leaves mingled with the lazy murmur of the nearby brook, a soothing counterpoint to the occasional clink of metal as vendors dismantled morning market stalls. From her resting place, she watched as the village's heartbeat started to relax, people leisurely exchanging smiles and conversations as they passed by. A soft breeze carried with it the subtle fragrance of distant wildflowers and the inviting scent of freshly baked bread from the baker's oven, their aromas weaving a tapestry of comfort and familiarity. Nearby, an elder from the village, Gaius, approached with a warm smile, a bundle of herbs cradled in his arms. The two exchanged nods, a silent acknowledgement of the shared threads of their lives. "Would you care to join me, Ilara?" he asked, gesturing to the empty space beside him. She nodded, grateful for the companionship, as they settled into amicable conversation. Their words were gentle, punctuated by the melody of rustling branches and the distant chime of a child's laughter carried on the wind. Through their quiet discourse, they spoke of usual matters, the health of the crops, the weather's curious habits, and the stories told by the river's ceaseless flow. Yet it was not just words that passed between them, but a shared moment of tranquility, a mutual understanding that sprang from their roots, intertwined deeply within the village's soil. As they sat, the gentle ambiance enveloped them, the sing-song of distant water, the occasional hum of bees busily at work, as they took a moment to savor the peace that comes with acceptance of one's place in the world. These quiet exchanges, seemingly small and unremarkable, were, in truth, the very threads that strengthened the fabric of their community, binding them together with an invisible, unbreakable weave. As the afternoon melted into a softer shade of gold, the village's preparations for the evening's festival became more pronounced, drawing Ilara back into the whirl of communal activity. This celebration, an annual homage to the generous harvest, was steeped deeply in traditions passed down through generations. At its core lay the preparation of a special baked bread, its recipe one of the village's most cherished secrets. Made from the freshest grains of the season, the dough is kneaded with honey and a hint of wild rosemary, its aroma trailing through the air like a fragrant promise. Elders told of how each loaf symbolized prosperity and the unity of the community, its braided form representing entwined fates and shared destinies. As Ilara contributed her batch to the communal ovens, ancient stone hearths built into the earth, themselves stained with the labor and love of countless hands, she felt a deep connection to both past and present, a continuity that spanned beyond the visible horizons. Meanwhile, artisans in the village occupied themselves with the meticulous task of preparing garlands, woven of dried flowers and bright ribbons that shimmered like captured rainbows under the waning light. These garlands were more than mere decoration. They were an embodiment of gratitude, woven together with the good wishes and aspirations of the villagers. Each one, when placed above the doorframes of homes or wrapped around the arms of participants, was said to invite abundance and ward off ill fortune. Overhead, swaths of linen dyed in brilliant hues were hung across the central square, their soft flutters mirrored to the vibrant tapestries of the people below. As villagers dressed in their customary garments, tunics embroidered with motifs of grain and vine, colors rich and earthy, they carried with them the stories of their ancestors, sewn invisibly into each thread. These clothes were reminders of lineage and legacy, preserving the essence of those who had tread the same paths and spoke the same soft words long before. As twilight began to spill its gentle embrace over the village, the scene transformed into a radiant harmony of sights and sounds, where tradition and belief walked hand in hand, stitching the moments of today into the ever-unfolding fabric of time. As the day gradually folded itself into the cool embrace of evening, the village seemed to teem with a purposeful energy, palpable as the light began to shift into shades of dusky blue and amber. Shadows stretched long and languid across the cobblestone paths, draping the scene in a soft chiaroscuro, a tapestry of light and dark that transformed the village into a gentle whisper of its daytime self. Amid this serene metamorphosis, a flurry of last-minute activity unfolded. Ilara, having completed her tasks, now stood at the threshold of her home, watching the pulsating scene before her. A young boy, cheeks flushed with excitement, rushed past her, announcing the arrival of goods from the neighboring town, baskets brimming with ripe, dark cherries, polished apples, and fragrant spices wrapped in cloth. His news greeted by laughter and eager anticipation, the villagers quickly set about integrating these treasures into their already abundant preparations. An added layer of richness folded seamlessly into their festive offerings. In another part of the village, an elder known for her wisdom and careful hands had completed her own essential task, crafting a special brew from herbs gathered at dusk, a traditional restorative potion meant to invigorate and renew all who partook during the festivities. She moved with a deliberate grace through the press of people, her presence acknowledged with respectful nods as she delivered the herbal concoction to the central meeting table, where it joined the burgeoning collection of treats and tokens that heralded the evening's promise. As she returned to her abode, a sense of fulfillment settled warmly within her chest, an echo of countless gatherings completed and celebrated. One by one, villagers began to peel away from the square, returning to their homes to don garments designated for the night's grand celebration. With each transition, the village surrendered to a final moment of stillness, as if holding its breath in reverent anticipation. The last gold traces of sunset threaded through the branches as night tiptoed closer, gently enveloping the world in a silken, starlit cloak, As people gathered again under the growing dome of night, their spirits soared higher than ever, ready to weave into the night's tapestry new stories of laughter, gratitude, and shared joy. As the sky deepened into twilight's inky embrace, the village prepared for nightfall with a practiced choreography honed over generations. The gentle splash of evening water echoed softly as Alara drew it from the stone well, the bucket swaying slightly as it ascended, heavy with the cool liquid that mirrored the iridescent glint of the first stars. She paused at the threshold of her home, listening as the rhythmic whispers of brooms swept across the cobblestone paths, clearing the remnants of the day's activity while setting the stage for the celebrations soon to unfold. The cheerful crackle of fire leapt into the air from hearths and communal bonfires, sending tendrils of warmth and light into the creeping shadows. Flames danced merrily, casting long fingers of light upon house walls and turning simple, honest faces into animated masks of flickering excitement. Inside, Alara moved with a serenity born of contentment, touching each room with gentle affection as she closed the windows against the night's cool breath, layering them with comforting scents of fresh rosemary and warming cedar. The village settled into its evening ritual like a bird tucking itself into its nest, each household performing small tasks that collectively murmured of home, safety, and belonging. From across the way, the soothing tones of a lute drifted through open windows, joining the symphony of preparing hearts. Alara, having completed her tasks, joined her family by the hearth one last time before heading out, her mother passing her a cup of steaming herbal tea that sat like liquid comfort in her palm. A final exchange of words and laughter blended seamlessly into the quiet world beyond their walls, twining together the warmth of family with the excitement that lay just beyond their door. As she stepped out once more into the night's embrace, the whispers of the village condensed into a gentle hum, a chorus rich with the anticipation of shared stories and woven moments. Such evenings, where preparation segued into dream-laden gatherings, carried an essence both timeless and transient, capturing the heart's deepest yearnings beneath the expansive canopy of the starlit sky. As the festival unfolded like a tapestry of soft lights and laughter, the village's pulse began to slow, settling into a gentle, familiar rhythm. Lanterns lined the square, their golden glow casting circles of warm light that glimmered like fireflies in the approaching dark. These lamps seemed to breathe with a gentle flicker, their lights mirroring the slow, comforting cadence of the village's collective heartbeat. Children, who had earlier darted through the square in endless games, now succumbed to the gentle pull of weariness, their energy spent in joyous abandon. A small girl rubbed her eyes, struggling to keep them open, before being gathered into her father's arms, a soft yawn escaping her lips as she nestled against his shoulder, surrendering to the soothing embrace of sleepiness. The tender sight of such contentment painted a serene picture of familial love, woven under the watchful, starlit sky. In a quieter corner of the village, near the edge of the gathering where the shadows pooled in gentle respite, an elder sat with a subtle smile curving his lips. His eyes, a mirror of stories untold and experiences cherished, watched as the evening's tapestry wove itself into the fabric of deepening night. He began to hum, a low, melodious tune resonating with the wisdom of years and resonating within the stillness surrounding him. The melody was a lullaby that drifted through the cooling air, softening the edges of the bustling celebration, ushering in a tranquil calm. Elders who sat nearby marveled at the powerful simplicity of the moment, their heads nodding gently, a shared acknowledgement of time's quiet passing. Embraced by the soothing darkness, the village settled into an interconnected hush, embraced by the vast, quiet night. The voices and laughter from the evening's festivity receded like the tide, leaving behind an ocean of tranquility that wrapped the village in its soothing arms. As the stars shimmered brightly above, their light kissing the landscape with gentle illumination, the village exhaled a collective sigh of contentment, conscious of the cherished memories created and the timeless continuity of their shared journey. As the hours slipped through the gentle embrace of night, a profound quietude enveloped the village, each echo of laughter and murmured conversation falling into comforting silence. From her spot just beyond the soft glow of the central square, Alara found herself looking up at the vast, starlit sky, a tapestry of innumerable points of light twinkling high above, each star a silent guardian of the secrets and dreams whispered to the night. With the cool earth beneath her and the expansive sky arching above, she felt herself caught in the quiet majesty of the moment. The universe, vast and mysterious, seemed to cradle the village, binding it in an unspoken pact of harmony and continuity. There was a solace in this cosmic connection, an assurance that life's gentle rhythms, like the orbit of stars, were timeless and immutable. These celestial sentinels stood vigil over their small world, both distant and reassuringly familiar, a reminder of the infinite dance in which all were participants and watchers alike. In this tranquil space, a soft revelation wove itself into Ilara's thoughts, a truth as old as time itself. Life, with all its quiet joys and hidden heartaches, was a pattern threaded with love, unity, and shared experiences. It was the laughter of children playing in the sun, the toil of hands preparing meals for loved ones, the wisdom passed from one generation to the next through stories and songs. Each moment, however fleeting, contributed to the rich tapestry of existence in which every soul found their place. Standing there, wrapped in the embrace of night, Ilara understood the essence of her world. It was built not just of earth and stone, but also of trust, hope, and the simple, enduring bonds forged in daily life. As sleep beckoned, subtle and insistent, she carried this thought close to her heart, a talisman glowing with the warmth of human connection. The village, too, seemed to breathe as one, sinking into a deep, restorative slumber, each household a haven of dreams and whispered wishes under the watchful gaze of the stars. Thank you for joining our journey through history's tranquility. If you enjoyed this calm escape and wish to explore more immersive stories together, please subscribe. Your support means the world to us.